In the vast tapestry of human history, the Neanderthals stand as both our closest relatives and a testament to the intricate dance of survival, adaptation, and eventual extinction. Their story is not just about a species that vanished, but about the profound connections and shared traits that bind us to them. This exploration delves deep into the lives of the Neanderthals, their interactions with early Homo sapiens, and the enduring legacy they left behind. Neanderthals, or Homo neanderthalensis, roamed parts of Europe and Asia from approximately 400,000 to 40,000 years ago. Initially viewed as brutish and primitive, recent research has revealed a much more complex picture. These early humans crafted tools with advanced techniques, demonstrating their problem-solving abilities. Far from being simple survivors, Neanderthals displayed a level of intelligence that allowed them to thrive in harsh environments. Their sophisticated tool-making skills allowed them to hunt large game and adapt to fluctuating climates. Neanderthals also left behind evidence of symbolic thought, including personal adornments and cave art, suggesting they had a rich cultural life. These discoveries challenged the traditional view that Homo sapiens were the only species capable of abstract thinking. The existence of Neanderthals complicates the linear view of human evolution. Instead of a straightforward progression from primitive to modern, Neanderthals reveal a more intricate evolutionary web, with multiple human-like species coexisting and interbreeding. Their legacy is embedded in our DNA, a reminder of the complex, interconnected history that has shaped who we are today. Recent advancements in genetic research have revealed an intriguing and surprising connection between Neanderthals and modern humans. Studies have shown that non-African populations carry between 1% and 2% Neanderthal DNA in their genomes. This discovery highlights the fact that rather than being completely replaced by Homo sapiens, Neanderthals and early humans coexisted and interacted, interbreeding over thousands of years. This genetic evidence suggests a far more complex relationship between the two species. Neanderthals did not vanish without leaving their mark. Instead, their genetic legacy has continued to influence traits in modern humans, such as immune responses and skin characteristics. These subtle yet significant traces of Neanderthal DNA are a reminder that our ancestors did not evolve in isolation, but were part of a diverse and interconnected web of human-like species. As scientists continue to decode these genetic echoes, we're discovering that our evolutionary history is far more intricate than previously thought. Neanderthals, once viewed as distant and separate from us, are now recognized as integral to the development of modern humans. This genetic inheritance challenges the idea of a simple, linear progression in human evolution and highlights the complexity of our shared past. For years, Neanderthals were believed to be incapable of symbolic thought and cultural expression, often seen as primitive beings focused solely on survival. However, recent discoveries have revealed a different story, one where Neanderthals exhibited remarkable signs of symbolic behavior, challenging previous assumptions. Evidence found in various archaeological sites now suggests that Neanderthals were not only survivors but also thinkers with complex cultural practices. One of the most striking discoveries is the red ochre hand stencils found in La Pasiega cave in Spain, dating back over 64,000 years. These stencils, along with other symbolic markings, challenge the idea that abstract thought was exclusive to Homo sapiens. Additionally, Neanderthals created personal ornaments from bones and shells, which shows they had an appreciation for aesthetics and self-adornment. Furthermore, burial practices provide insight into the symbolic and ritualistic behaviors of Neanderthals. Archaeologists have uncovered remains that indicate deliberate burial, sometimes accompanied by objects, suggesting a possible belief in the afterlife or a deep respect for the dead. These cultural footprints paint a picture of Neanderthals as complex beings capable of symbolic expression, overturning the traditional view of them as mere brute survivors. Neanderthals were skilled toolmakers, far more advanced than previously thought. One of their most notable techniques was the Levallois method, which involved preparing a stone core in a specific way to produce sharp, predetermined flakes. This technique wasn't just about creating tools for immediate use, but also required careful planning and an understanding of material properties. It allowed Neanderthals to craft a variety of tools used for hunting, butchering, and even processing plant materials. The tools created using the Levallois technique reflect a deep knowledge of the environment and materials. These tools were highly effective for their intended purposes, whether for killing large game or preparing food. The sophistication involved in producing these tools challenges the idea that Neanderthals were simple and primitive. Instead, it reveals a species capable of innovation, organization, and an understanding of their surroundings. This ability to craft specialized tools shows that Neanderthals were not just surviving, they were thriving. The skill required to produce these tools suggests a level of cognitive ability and foresight that allowed them to adapt to and manipulate their environment in ways previously thought to be exclusive to Homo sapiens. Neanderthal diets were surprisingly diverse and adapted to the regions they inhabited. In coastal areas like Gibraltar, evidence shows they consumed marine resources, including shellfish and marine mammals. This suggests that Neanderthals were not just land-based hunters, but also skilled at exploiting the sea for food. Such marine resources added variety to their diet, especially in coastal regions where these resources were abundant. In other areas, Neanderthals focused on large game, such as mammoths and reindeer. Archaeological findings indicate that these animals were a significant part of their diet, hunted with advanced tools and tactics. However, Neanderthals didn't rely solely on meat. They also gathered plant-based foods like pine nuts, mushrooms, and berries. This inclusion of plant materials highlights the flexibility in their diet, showing they adapted to seasonal changes and local availability of resources. This diverse diet not only supported their survival but also demonstrated their ability to thrive in various environments. Whether they were hunting large mammals, foraging for plants, or gathering marine resources, Neanderthals' dietary practices reflect their adaptability and resourcefulness, making them capable of living in different climates and ecosystems throughout their existence. The discovery of Neanderthal burial sites, such as Shanidar Cave in Iraq, offers fascinating insights into their social structures and behaviors. Some Neanderthal remains were found deliberately buried, with signs of care in their positioning. In some cases, burial sites contained grave goods, such as flowers and tools, suggesting that Neanderthals may have held a concept of the afterlife or, at the very least, a deep respect for the deceased. These burial practices point to a level of emotional and social sophistication, previously thought to be unique to modern humans. The intentional care in burying their dead reflects an understanding of death and possibly ritualistic practices. This discovery also challenges the idea that Neanderthals were just survival-focused creatures, showcasing their capacity for symbolic thought and emotional connection to their community. In addition to burial practices, evidence from Neanderthal remains shows signs of healed injuries, indicating that individuals who were injured or disabled were cared for by others in their group. This suggests a sense of social cooperation, where the well-being of group members was prioritized. Such findings point to a complex social structure, where Neanderthals not only survived together, but also provided support and care for one another, highlighting their deep sense of community. Neanderthals lived through a range of fluctuating climates, from the harsh cold of glacial periods to the milder conditions of interglacials. Their survival through these dramatic shifts demonstrates their remarkable adaptability. During the coldest periods, Neanderthals developed effective tools and clothing to withstand the freezing temperatures. They built shelters from animal hides and bones, showing a deep understanding of how to use available resources to survive in the harshest environments. Their diet reflected their ability to adapt to different climates. In colder times, they relied heavily on large game, such as mammoths and reindeer, while during warmer interglacials, they diversified their food sources by foraging for plants and smaller animals. This dietary flexibility allowed them to thrive in varying conditions. However, rapid climatic shifts, such as the Heinrich events, posed significant challenges. These abrupt cooling phases could have dramatically reduced the availability of food and forced Neanderthals to move to new areas or change their hunting and gathering strategies. Such rapid environmental changes likely created stress on their survival, affecting both their food sources and habitats. Despite their resilience, these extreme climate fluctuations may have played a role in the eventual decline of Neanderthal populations. When Homo sapiens arrived in Europe around 45,000 years ago, they didn't simply replace the Neanderthals. Rather, the two species coexisted for thousands of years. While there is limited evidence of direct conflict between them, it's likely that competition for resources such as food, shelter, and territory played a significant role in their interactions. Homo sapiens brought with them advanced tools, hunting techniques, and cultural practices that could have given them an edge in the harsh environments of the time. However, these interactions were not purely competitive. Some Neanderthal groups appear to have adopted elements of Homo sapiens technologies and ways of life. Evidence suggests that Neanderthals may have learned to use more sophisticated tools and hunting strategies from the newcomers. This exchange implies that the relationship between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals was complex, involving not just competition, but also cooperation and assimilation. Genetic evidence further supports this idea. Modern humans outside Africa carry traces of Neanderthal DNA, indicating that interbreeding occurred between the two species. This blending of cultures and genes reveals a more nuanced history, one in which Neanderthals did not simply vanish, but contributed to the genetic legacy of Homo sapiens. The story of their interactions is not one of simple replacement, but of shared survival, adaptation, and integration. The extinction of Neanderthals around 40,000 years ago remains a captivating mystery. Several theories have been proposed to explain their disappearance, with climate change, competition with Homo sapiens, and possible interbreeding, all playing significant roles in the debate. One popular theory suggests that climate change was a major factor. Neanderthals lived through various ice ages, but as the last ice age ended, the planet warmed. This shift brought changes to their environment, affecting food sources and habitats. Neanderthals, who were adapted to colder climates, may have struggled to adjust to the rapidly changing conditions, making survival increasingly difficult. Another theory revolves around competition with Homo sapiens. When modern humans arrived in Europe, they brought advanced tools and social structures that may have outcompeted Neanderthals for resources. However, evidence suggests that the two species coexisted for a time, with Homo sapiens gradually gaining dominance, possibly through more efficient hunting and better adaptation strategies. A third possibility is that Neanderthals did not fully disappear, but were absorbed into the Homo sapiens gene pool through interbreeding. Genetic evidence shows that Neanderthal DNA is present in non-African humans today, indicating that rather than being completely wiped out, Neanderthals merged with early humans, leading to their extinction as a distinct species. The genetic contributions of Neanderthals are still evident in modern human populations, influencing traits and even health risks. Studies show that non-African populations carry between 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA, which has impacted various aspects of human biology. These genetic traces have been linked to immune system responses, skin characteristics, and even the ability to adapt to different climates. For example, some Neanderthal genes may have provided early Homo sapiens with an advantage in fighting off diseases, helping them survive in new and challenging environments. However, not all of Neanderthal's genetic legacy is beneficial. Certain Neanderthal genes are associated with an increased risk of conditions like allergies, depression, and other health issues. This suggests that while interbreeding between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens might have provided some advantages, it also left behind some genetic vulnerabilities. Research into the extent and impact of Neanderthal DNA continues to shed light on the complex history of human evolution. By examining how these genetic legacies have shaped modern humans, scientists are uncovering the interconnectedness between different hominin species. The Neanderthal influence in our genes reminds us of the complex, shared past that has shaped who we are today. Over time, the portrayal of Neanderthals has evolved significantly. Initially, they were depicted as brutish, primitive cavemen, often portrayed as unintelligent and clumsy. Early archaeological interpretations focused on their physical differences from Homo sapiens, such as their stocky bodies and prominent brow ridges, and shaped the stereotype of Neanderthals as less capable and inferior. However, with advancements in archaeology, genetics, and the study of ancient artifacts, this outdated view has been debunked. Recent discoveries show that Neanderthals were capable of creating complex tools, engaging in symbolic behaviors, and even creating art. Evidence from burial sites suggests that they may have had ritualistic practices, indicating a deeper understanding of life and death. Their ability to craft advanced tools and their use of fire for warmth and cooking further challenge the misconception of them as primitive. Genetic research has also contributed to a more nuanced understanding. It's now known that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens interbred, and many modern humans carry traces of Neanderthal DNA. This genetic legacy demonstrates that Neanderthals were not a separate failed species but an integral part of human evolution. Today, Neanderthals are seen not as primitive creatures, but as complex beings with a significant cultural and genetic impact on our species. The story of Neanderthals is not just about a species that once roamed the earth, but about the shared heritage that connects all humans. Their existence is embedded in our DNA and cultural history, serving as a reminder of the complex and interconnected paths that have shaped humanity. Neanderthals are not distant ancestors that simply vanished. They are part of our shared evolutionary story. Through the genetic legacy they left behind, we carry traces of them in our genes up to 2% in some populations. These genetic contributions influence various traits, from immune responses to skin characteristics, and even mental health. Beyond genetics, the cultural practices of Neanderthals, such as tool-making, symbolic thought, and burial rituals, reveal a species with depth, intelligence, and social structure. They were not primitive, isolated beings but were part of a broader human-like world, sharing knowledge and practices that ultimately contributed to the development of Homo sapiens. Reflecting on their lives enriches our appreciation of our own existence. The Neanderthal legacy reminds us that humanity is not a linear progression but a shared tapestry, woven with the threads of various species and experiences. Understanding the Neanderthals helps us better understand who we are today, highlighting the complexities and interconnectedness that define the human journey. For those intrigued by the mysteries of our ancient relatives and the complex journey of human evolution, delve deeper into the world of Neanderthals and other prehistoric beings. Explore the channel Prehistoric Shadows on YouTube, where expert analyses, detailed reconstructions, and engaging discussions bring the past to life. Join the community of enthusiasts and scholars dedicated to uncovering the secrets of our shared history. Prehistoric Shadows aims to illuminate the often overlooked aspects of human evolution, focusing on the diverse hominin species that preceded and coexisted with Homo sapiens. Through a combination of scientific research, archaeological findings, and expert commentary, the channel seeks to provide a comprehensive understanding of our ancient ancestors. By highlighting the complexities and nuances of prehistoric life, Prehistoric Shadows fosters a deeper appreciation for the rich tapestry of human history.